What's going on, you guys? So the last time I did a video on the Mustang, we kind of went over the misfire issue we were having, and since I changed the injectors out, we haven't had an issue with the car. The next event is going to be Grid Life Midwest Festival, so that's going to be an absolute riot. Really looking forward to that. I am kind of in the middle of trying to make a decision on something that I want to do with the car, though. Now, so the motor that I built for the S550, it's a 5.7 LS, 10.5 to 1 compression with boost. It runs great, and it has been mechanically running great for 3 years now. I've done lifters on it because they were getting a little bit too noisy for my liking. They didn't actually fail, they were just starting to get a little clackety, so I figured I'd swap those out before it became an actual issue. Other than that, you know, oil pressure has been phenomenal. There's been no smoking issues, anything like that. No power losses that have been coming from actual mechanical failures in the engine, anything like that. And now I'm kind of trying to decide if I should rebuild this engine in the off season, which I was planning on doing, even though there's nothing wrong with it, or riding it out and seeing how long this engine actually lasts. Now, for anybody that doesn't know, I will give a quick rundown of the engine setup on here and what is in it. So on the bottom end, for starters, we have a stock LS3 crankshaft. We have the coated cleavage bearings throughout the whole motor, ARP mains, ARP head studs, ARP rod bolts, ARP crank bolt, ARP rocker bolts, basically ARP hardware on anything that needs to be held together. The rods are K1 rods in it, right? Yeah, it's got K1 rods in it and diamond pistons. So let's see, the diamond pistons that I put in here with these cylinder heads, which are, they're ported 5.3 truck heads. I went with the ported 5.3 truck heads because they have a smaller combustion chamber, which means higher compression in the engine. The downside is valve sizing is a little bit smaller. So we did do a port job on the intake, and we did a full valve job on the motor. Valve train wise, we are running BTR dual coil valve springs, titanium retainers, stock rocker arms with trunnion bearing upgrades, and trend performance push rods. Lifters are OEM LS7 lifters. I've had the best results with OEM LS7 lifters. The ones that I had fail before were not OEM LS7 lifters. They were some other aftermarket LS7 lifter, and yeah, didn't work out. The ones that I bought for this originally, I actually seen them do the same thing on several other vehicles before, so from now on I'm not going to be using that company anymore. I'm just going to use the genuine OEM GM LS7 lifters on it. The camshaft in this is a BTR Stage 4 turbo camshaft, and the turbo is a Garrett GTX 4508R turbo. It's good for like 1200 horsepower. Injectors are Aus injectors, 1000 cc's with 4 Walbro 450s in the back feeding it, so tons of flow, you know. Stock LS2 intake manifold, kind of a custom turbo kit we built. Relatively simple build, nothing too complex, but it has been together for 3 years now, and I'm starting to wonder if I should take it apart, maybe change rings out, maybe change bearings out. I don't know. I just feel like it's running so good, I don't really know if I want to mess with it. Another thing I have been considering is changing the turbo kit out. I still want to stay with the air-to-water intercooler setup that I have on here because it actually works really good. So I was surprised that it worked as well as it does, but it works so efficiently that I don't want to change it. But we might change the turbo out to a newer G42 series turbo and then redo all the piping, and I definitely want to change this piping up. This wastegate dump setup is something that I didn't really originally want to do. I kind of wanted to do it a little bit more aesthetic and have it look a little bit cleaner. Say with the turbo kit, with the actual header crossover design, I wanted to change that up primarily because once the stainless heat cycles so many times, it can be a real pain to get that turbo kit back together and get the pipes bolted back on. So if I want to redesign this and maybe make my own custom headers for it and put a bellow or two in there to actually give it some wiggle room and flex so it's easier to install and take off if I need to. As for everything that's running the electronics in the car, the Hall Tech system, the PDM system that runs all of the generic electronics of the entire chassis, the AEM dash, basically everything that's communicated through the CAN bus system of the car. That stuff has been working flawlessly, and I'm super happy with how all of that works. So I'm not changing any of that at all. Honestly, there are two key parts that I've been thinking about wanting to put on this car, but I can't justify it, and one of them being a quick change rear end, and the second one being a dog box transmission. Now, over the years of driving in Pro-Am and all the competing that I did, kind of burnt me out on competition. This build was not being built for me to go drive in FD or Pro or anything like this. I just kind of built it because I wanted to build something cool, and I like building cool cars. You know, I might take this out 3-4 times a year, just go to fun events, and that, to me, that's worth it to have fun with. But I don't think it's worth justifying the price of putting a quick change and a dog box in. I mean, like, a dog box would be cool. So if I do either of those, it would probably be a dog box. Quick change, I can't justify quick change just for going and doing fun events. That'd be a waste of money. But yeah, anyways, question for you guys. Do you think I should rebuild this engine in the off season, even though if there's nothing wrong with it by the time I park it? Or do you think I should just keep running it, see how long it lasts? Let me know what you think in the comments. So that's going to be it for this one. Just kind of wanted to get a little bit of an opinion on what you guys think I should do here. So like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, follow the builds. This build's done, actually. There's nothing to follow on this. Anyways, till the next one, I'll catch you guys later.